Taylor, I've got your presentation up here, and let's get started. I, I think you're doing a great job. I really do. I think that once you pulled it together and really put it in gear, I think you got some really good results. I also think that I appreciate the fact that I can be honest with you in your critiques. Because you understand the process and you're making these changes that are based more on your thinking about what I'm saying than just making these changes because I happen to mention. And that's really important. And I think that's the major objective of this class, the way I see it anyways. I think it's just as important to understand why we're designing using sign and symbol as it is to come out with a good, solid visual solution. So, taking a look at the cover here, I just want to say this: the typography is good, but the background is really generic. Like it almost looks like a background that was designed for a PowerPoint presentation or something. So I'm not digging in this at all. I would definitely remove that. Even a white background with your black type. It's just going to be just superior. This is just too, I don't know, like PowerPointy, if that's a word. And then you come to this page, and I think this is good. I think I mentioned this last week. This is really dark. And the fact that you have this in conjunction with this evening shot, very dark, with the blue background, and then this shaded back blue cast on this image just makes for a really ominous welcome to the presentation through the table of contents. So keep that in mind. Very, very, very dark posture here. This is more like it. This is much more inviting. Much more inviting. Good page structure here. It looks like you have a broken 3-column grid, but nonetheless, this looks like it's going to end up being a pretty solid 3-column grid. I mentioned that because that's going to change a couple times in the presentation, and I think that's a mistake. Let me show you what I mean. Here again, here would be your 3-column grid, saying that this would be 1 column, this would be 1 column, this would be 1 column. The rest would be considered margin, right? But next page, we have 4 images. And then on this page would that be 3 again? Do you see what I'm saying? This should be solid. How do we do that? We place a grid over the image, over your background images. Your background pages. You place a grid and make sure that grid is consistent from page to page. For example, if you were to lay 12 horizontal rules and 8 vertical rules, and I'm just making those numbers up, but if you want to research, there's several different resources and suggestions as to what size grid is best for different types of page construction, etc. However, any grid at all is better than no grid. Why? Because you place this grid over your page, and everywhere there's an intersection, you consider that to be a place where you would want to place an image or the corner of an image, and make sure that's consistent throughout the presentation. Of course, making sure that each module in the grid is equal size and they're all equal distance apart. What does that do? That's going to ensure harmony in your page, both visual and mathematic harmony, because the page is dissected in a mathematical fashion. Therefore, using that mathematical foundation is going to ensure visual harmony in the page. Okay, and then see how we have these different kind of like that would have been a grid, but then it's broken here and then it's broken here. See what I'm saying? Okay. Other than that, I think presentation-wise, I think you're doing good. You've got good typography, good placement, good page mechanics, and outstanding hierarchy. So you're really getting it. Then you change the whole structure here for the next couple pages, and we got the PowerPoint background again there, and then I'm not sure what category indicates why the type is in this column here with this background or this column here. But it seems that those are consistent for a couple of pages. Then this one changes again all of a sudden. So just so you know, the reason you want to establish consistency from page to page and maintain that consistency is because your viewer is going to develop this cadence, this timing, and this expectation of this established timing and rhythm through each page. By changing the way you place your typography and making the viewer's eye jump over here on this page and jump over here on this page and then jump over here on this page, and then jump over here to the middle on this page. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that needs to be consistent, because then it will add what's called it will add a consistency that will really add a nice visual timing to the presentation. Pictograms look good. I think that there's not enough explaining what these are. Like, what is this? What event is this? What event is this? It's not apparent by looking at your pictograms. That's a critical error. I think that's a missed opportunity there, because your pictograms are not as such that I know that's some kind of ski jumping, but how many different kinds of ski jumping are there? And especially now with snowboards. And this one, we just don't know what it is. Just, you see what I'm saying? This could be men's, could be women's, it could be paraplegic bobsledding. I don't know. I don't mean that as a joke, and I don't even know if there's such a thing. But I'm saying that because of the Paralympic status that was presented in the Rio Games that I presented in our course announcement. So that point of confusion that should be very, very obvious what we're looking at. And how the most obvious way is to just add some text to tell us at least what it is. I mean, the signage looks good. Everything looks good. Your presentation is good. You really, really have your software down very nicely, I might say. This was a great idea. Great idea. And this is the type of stuff to get you hired, Taylor. This is different. It's different than anything we've seen. So it's noteworthy. Okay, and this is great. Good job. Sources. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. A lot of students aren't including their sources. So great job there. And then your closing page. Great job, Taylor. I'm impressed. Good job. If you have any questions at all, or if I can help you at all, just give me a holler. Okay, thanks, man.